success with Global.Media.com. Every step forward is a new beat to your drum. Achieve success with Global.Media.com. Then celebrate it with or without champagne.
What's going on?
We're live, Christiana. We're live.
Yay, finally. Do you know, I was frozen whilst we were actually going live. It makes no sense.
Yeah, don't worry about it. You know, listen, now that we're live, that's the important thing. You know, so
Don't work with technology.
like I said, I reserve the right to swear at my machines. I shan't swear at people.
See?
I said that's machine playing up again in the background of my screen.
Yay, finally. You know, I was frozen.
I can hear you. I tell you. I can hear an echo.
The delay is happening.
Yeah, it's my fault. It's fine.
You've got echo. I've just turned it down so there will be no echo.
We're going slowly. Okay, I've muted my WhatsApp. Mr. Calm, I see you. Welcome, Mr. Calm. Always great to have you here. Of course, Natalie, I see you as well. I didn't see Mr. Calm.
Hello.
Mr. Calm, hello. Natalie can see him. I can't see him. Well, I can see him on LinkedIn. Hello, Joni. How are you? Christiana's not here. She's having a break.
Oh, she's having a break, huh? Okay. Hi.
Hello. I'm
Hello.
having a break. Joni,
I
you're
have
doing
been
the show.
having a
Hi,
break.
Natalie.
Take care of life.
Hi, Natalie. Hi, Joni. Joni, you're going to be doing the show tonight. I'm just going to take a step back. You can talk about this topic, okay?
But, girl, no. I have stuff to do. I'm moving homes, and so it's like I got all this boxing, and I need the equity out of my home. It's a good thing. Like I'm gonna get $300,000. It's a good thing.
Well, so you have to move.
Buying land and I'm building a home, right?
So you have to move before you do all that, or do you move? Or have you bought the land yet?
No, I'm moving in. I've packed almost every little thing, plates and clothes, all of that stuff, all my kids' stuff. And that's going into a pod. Do you know what a pod is?
Yeah, storage.
Yeah.
And so that's going there. And then when the new people sign and accept, then I will be able to it's just a lot of working pieces. And so I will be able to sign and accept the deal for my land. And then I will be able to start building. But I have all of the design and stuff down. And it's not far from where I live. So it's not a huge change for me, but it's a lot to give up the home. And, I put all my money down on this home, and it made so much in kind of
excellent equity
revenue. And honestly, you just at least from what I know, you got to get out when the market's hot. And going from putting $40,000 down to making $300,000-$400,000.
That's equity. I mean, you're talking
that's a good return.
Christiana and I, we're both property people, so we know what you're talking about. So we get it, right?
I love property.
I
love it. And I want
a quick question. A quick question. Do you have to wait 3 months like we have to here for the transaction to happen?
Oh no!
Really? Now here in the UK,
America's different.
Yeah, normally, we don't move to sell a house. Here, we stay in the house because of that 3 months.
Tell your dad. You're just laying in the bed, holding your your wife's hand. Oh my goodness. You're okay, come take us.
No,
No,
no, no,
we
no, no.
if
You
you're
get,
smart in America, you change homes a lot, and literally, like, you can be at a closing one day, and then you close on something the other day, and boom, it's yours.
wow. Now here,
Well,
right, so we
as
have to
long
wait.
as you have the money and it's
Mm.
cleared, but yes, that's how it
You
works.
guys
It's
are
just
Now
spoiled.
here,
no,
even if you have cash, we still have to
You,
wait 12 weeks here because they have to do the
you
checks
guys are spoiled.
and registry and all that sort of stuff.
well,
They
you
do
guys have
checks.
such a smaller country than us.
We have more rigorous checks. That's all it
That's
is. I said, like, they check
that's it.
everything.
I mean, honestly,
Yes.
so I did hear a story about someone buying a beautiful piece of property. I think it was in Virginia, and they it was like a scam. Like someone
Mm.
had like left the property, but it was still in the homeowner's name, and the real estate didn't check it, and so then
Mm.
they bought it, started renovating it, and then the real owner came
Yeah.
back after like $1 million. And I was like,
Yep.
okay, that's horrifying. That's just horrifying.
That's why we have the
We can
12
do that.
weeks because the checks are done, so that
That's,
everything, like,
that
they do
would
all the
make
checks
sense.
and everything. Let's welcome some more people, and then
Okay. Let's get
the
let's
show
get up.
started.
Let's go with the show. Yes.
So
And
Lisa,
whatever, your hat looks dope.
Hi, Lisa.
I was gonna say AF.
who else do we have? So Annie, welcome. I know,
Hi, Annie.
awful thing that you can't correct your spelling on this chat, right? Okay, that's cool.
You
Anyway,
can. It's okay.
my job here is done. Welcome, my sister. I'm glad you're here. Right, Christiana,
Hello,
what are we
hello,
talking
hello.
about today?
Welcome, Annie. Welcome, Lisa. It's so good to see you guys. What are we talking about? Didn't the title give
Well,
it away?
I mean, it's a different kind of show today. It's a different show, right? It's a different kind of show because there's two parts. Is there two
Yes.
parts?
There are two parts to the show today. First of all, let me say welcome, everybody. It's so good to have you guys here. Thank you, as usual, for your support, for being here, for showing up and bringing your smiles, okay? Bringing your smiles and your stories and making us feel all warm and fuzzy inside. So, on my end, my screen is freezing a lot. I'm not sure if it's doing the same thing as you watch this, but I'm freezing.
No,
I'm frozen
no,
right now. No,
no,
I'm
no,
freezing a
no,
lot at the
no.
moment.
Yeah, you're still moving. You're still moving.
Excellent. Good. Thank you, Annie, for that confirmation. So, yes, thank you for being here. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We have two different shows for you in one. Okay. The second part is going to be a very brief, very short part. The first part is more of our usual fortnight, every 2 weeks show. And this week's show, if you haven't already gleaned from the topic, I've just seen at the bottom running down, the M is in small letters, and the moving, the rest of the moving is in capital letters. Any That's hilarious. Why is the M
Yay!
being penalized?
At least
I
someone's
feel like
looked at it. At least someone's actually looked at it. No one looks at it otherwise, right? You've seen it. That's
yeah,
important.
I always look at it on whatever show I
Yeah.
turn up, whether it's my show or somebody else's show. I always do. So
Uh-huh.
yeah, so this week we are going to be speaking about that dreaded thing. I kind of, and I said to myself, it's 7 o'clock for this for this topic alone. Should I have made it 10 o'clock? A late show, because it's about the late show for tonight's show. So we talk about miscarriage and baby loss on this show, and this particular subject I have avoided for quite some time. It's the one thing that comes up in conversation in the spaces I occupy, but also when I'm sat face with clients, is the one thing that comes up, the one kind of icky, sticky, awkward conversation. Not awkward for me, because hey, I'm open to hearing all and everything, but awkward for the couples that you can hear want to bring this topic, but they're trying to avoid it. And so I thought, why not? Right? This show is a show that talks about the things that other people don't want to talk about. And so we're in the right place for this show. Um, And really, it's really talking about after miscarriage. And like I said, we talk about miscarriage and baby loss on this show. We know how negatively this trauma can impact us, impact our mental health, impact our physical being, impact our emotional well-being. But it's a journey afterwards. I know that Dr. Noella is going to be here later on to really talk about the preconception as part of the second half of of today's show, and speak about what, just a little bit touch on that. But here is the thing: we forget that in the preconception stages, the consideration is the intimacy that we need to experience for those that needs to be done. It needs to be experienced for the pregnancy to happen after miscarriage. Now imagine you're dealing with a loss, and you're dealing with, you know, this intensity, you're going through grief, you're experiencing different emotions, physically, mentally, emotionally. And now you've got to think to yourself, excuse me, swallow the frog. And now you've got to think to yourself, okay, for some women and for some men, that journey of intimacy is sometimes a struggle. You know, the first thing is the negative things and the limiting beliefs that we tell ourselves. So let's look at it this way. What happens is couples describe the fear of, and I'm so glad that we are doing this, our live event next Tuesday, on the fear of grief, the fear of resilience, and the reproductive journey as a whole. You know, this is a small part of that. And when I thought about it, like I said, I've been avoiding this same topic for quite some time, because it's one of uh, a sensitive nature. Everything we speak about is sensitive, but more so when you're dealing with couples, when they're not able to focus, they're not able to move forward, things are not quite right. The lack of intimacy means that you're disconnected, you know. And so I thought, why not? Why not have this conversation? Why not actually talk about this? Um, why not bring it to the table and have you guys listen, but also have you guys tell me your thoughts. Tell me what perhaps your experiences have been, if you're willing and free to do so. That for me is something that I believe some of us don't want to talk about, you know. And so today we're going to speak about that dreaded word, intimacy, from an emotional perspective, but also from a physical perspective. So here's the thing. When miscarriage happens, as you know, I always go through the stats. If you're joining me for the first time, or joining the show for the first time, I'm Christina T. Johnson, and this is Miscarriage and Baby Loss series, live on LinkedIn. And if you're watching on YouTube, thank you so much for joining us, for watching this, whether the replay or the live. We love your support and we love you so much. And I'm hoping that whatever you learn here today, or whatever you hear today in this show, you'll be more than willing and open to help others. Okay. Another thing too is, please share this event to others now, so they can come and join us. And they may have a different perspective. They might have their own views, thoughts, experiences to share. Please invite them to come and join us. Thank you. And so think about it. Couples describe intimacy as rather mechanical, impersonal, and cold at times. And that's a difficulty, because when you are going through a trauma of this nature, for the woman, she's thinking about her physical being. You're still going through the loss of a pregnancy. And for some, they're still experiencing some discomfort, some pain. depending on the procedure that you've had to have, or none at all, and you're still going through the loss. Here's the thing: the mind is, how do I even begin to think about intimacy? So again, let's look at this. There are different aspects of intimacy, and I will not just narrow it down to one aspect, to just the physical aspect, because it takes connection really to rebuild, to build your confidence. For some women, the body goes through changes, whether that means going through surgical procedures to be able to even try to bring a child into this world. We feel uncomfortable, we feel unsure and uncertain about our bodies. We are, yes, and even though we have been um, with our partners, for some of us, our partners for a very long time, there is still that thought in our minds that tells us, by the way, I don't want him to see me. You know, I don't want to I don't want to be intimate because right now my emotions are not attached to, you know, my husband or my partners, because you're still grieving and you're still processing what's happening to you. And so that means that we will do anything and everything to avoid intimacy. So when I think about this, I'm sorry, I'm Annie, can you still see me and hear me?
Yes, yes, I can see you. Big screen. I can hear you loud and clear.
So I'm currently frozen and I keep freezing.
You're not frozen. No, no,
Um,
you're moving.
what I'll do is I'm going to come out and come back in again, just on
No,
my
it's
side,
working so
because
well. Oh no. All right, go on then. Go on then. Go on then.
I will, because it's putting me
I
right
mean,
off.
now you
And
left us hanging.
I'm
Now we're like, what we're meant to do, Christiana? How long do we have to wait?
You can
How
fill
long?
the
What
gap as well.
do
See,
we
I can't,
do?
Ellie, I'll be 2 minutes.
Joni, Mr. Calm, how are you doing?
Hi, doing good. Hi, Michael Com.
We,
Glad to
we can
see
just
you.
I'm
say it's
doing
hard to call
great.
him.
How are you?
I'm doing good. I have a lot to contribute, but I will make it so quick. Is
No, no,
she
no, no,
there?
no, wait a bit. Otherwise, I have to respond to you, and I don't want to do that.
You
This
don't have
is
to respond to me.
me and Michael. We are. I don't know. I don't know. We're here to learn. Yes, that's my excuse,
Yeah,
Michael. Right?
yeah, yeah, yeah. Don't, yeah, yeah, you are just helping make sure the video
Yes.
goes correct. And Christiana, where did she go?
She's restarting her device, so that could take a while.
Okay,
Okay, no,
all right.
Joni, no, so share with us. And share. Look,
I know, but
obviously,
I want Christiana to hear it. So let's let
yes.
go first because I have good things and well,
Okay,
good
yeah,
things
yeah, yeah,
overall.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Mr.
Go.
Calm, what do you want to know? What do you want to share on the topic? If not, let's just talk about how your day is going, Michael. That just makes life easier, right?
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah. That would be much, much easier and much better to be talking about, actually. If the audience really wants to learn about how my day is going, well, let me tell you something, man. Oh, man. Today
Go
I
for
got
it,
up
Michael. Go for it.
and guess what? I got up at like 9 p.m. I went to bed around about
9 p.m., 9
yeah,
a.m.,
9
9 a.m.,
p.m. No,
9
9
p.m.
p.m.
It's not 9 p.m.
Yes,
yet. It's not 9 p.m. yet.
last night. Last night.
You haven't been to sleep.
I tried to go to sleep for about a couple of hours and then it couldn't work out. So about 11 o'clock I just got out of bed. Then I started doing my exercises, and my massages and so on. Before I knew it, it was 1 o'clock in the morning. It was like, okay, it's 1 o'clock in the morning. Let's do what Annie suggested. Let's read a book. So I got the book out and I started reading the book. And yeah, before I knew it, it was about an hour later. I was asleep, and then the alarm
Yay!
goes off a couple of hours later. Like, oh shoot, the alarm's going off, and yeah, I was still tired. I was like, damn it, I gotta get back to sleep because I just wanna, I just got a couple of hours of sleep. That's it, no more than that. I said, oh darn it. So I said, okay, okay, I can't go back to sleep. I gotta get up and I gotta get myself going. So it was rather slow for me to get out of bed and, do all my stuff. On top of that, then extra training and massaging and, all my activities that I do in the morning, etc. I can invite you late next time when, maybe through the book, I'll invite you. Another book that I write, I'll tell you what kind of massages I go through in order to fix myself after going through the DVT that I went through.
Marcus
Oh
writes
boy.
another book. Yay! Victory for
Yes, yes.
mankind. We'll learn something.
I believe that once you start publishing that book, it's gonna be, a bestseller, and then I'll be able to go ahead and start writing another one to follow it
I,
up.
I, I agree with you. I
I'll,
was talking to
uh,
a doctor the other day, right? My
uh-huh,
in the
uh-huh.
UK. They're a proper doctor. I was like, why can't you not use DVC? What's this? No, it's a condition. Why can't you just fix and reverse it? He's like, "Oh, it's coming on my show next Tuesday. So I'm doing a spotlight on him, Dr. Philip.
Oh.
So he'll explain some of the complexities around DVT, which I'm
DVT is
hopefully.
extremely complex. It's something that in fact, you remember I told you last time that it's something that I considered have been cured from. Well, that's not exactly true. No, you can't get cured from DVT because it has a tendency of coming back if you're
Mm,
careless. Yeah, you can only manage it. After you get it, you can just manage it. And
yeah,
then
that's the
now
reality.
that's what you're gonna be doing. That's the reality
Mm,
of the situation. Now you have to be consistently managing and monitoring and making sure that you don't get other stuff. As because DVT is not the only thing you can get after you've gone through
yeah.
that process. DVT actually opens you up to getting other stuff. It's kind of like COVID. They
Mm,
keep on telling you, hey, the guy died from COVID. No, no, he didn't really die from COVID. He died from something that COVID really accentuated or maybe
mm,
became a catalyst of. You know,
yeah.
instead of like for instance, if you had diabetes and you had it all squared up and you were okay with it, and then all of a sudden you get COVID, now your diabetes starts acting up. You die of the
Mm,
diabetes, but you don't die of the COVID. The
mm,
COVID is the one that catalyzed your diabetes situation or whatever
yeah.
precondition you had.
Mm,
M-
yeah. I
and
think
there's also a possibility that you do not know what you had or what
yeah.
you are
Yeah.
predisposed to before
Mm,
you got the COVID.
yeah. I
There's a
think
possibility that can happen too.
it's
And
in
then
many
that will,
it's in many preconditions. I think that
right.
where he's at in that. So that's what no one talks about. No one understands very well. I think
That's
because
right.
like you're saying, he was saying like DVT is not it's not just one thing. It could be a million things. Literally,
Yes.
it could be
Yes,
so
and
many
that's why it's got
different
such a
things.
strange name also. Deep
Mm,
vein thrombosis. And I'm like, what the heck is deep vein thrombosis? What is that? It doesn't really specify exactly what it is. All you know is like, okay, I got blood clots in my system. Okay. Is that all? No, that's not all. Because there's a
that's
whole
just a
bunch of other
start.
stuff that that's the start. That's a whole bunch of stuff that comes with it.
Mm,
A whole bunch. And they have not fully understood what it is either. So you've got to deal with that too. So it's kind of like you've become your own researcher and your own doctor,
No, it's
pretty
true.
much.
So it's not. But coming back to your sleep issue, I mean, you must be
Hmm.
exhausted. You must be exhausted.
Oh my brother, I am totally and utterly exhausted. Do you have a bed for me?
What? There's an airbed.
Once I get done, I'll come utilize it for a bit. Keep you company as well.
Yeah.
uh,
Sorry, my friends. In
no,
the case
no.
you're wondering why we're waffling, Christiana is lost in the ether. She's somewhere. That screen was freezing, but we could hear and see her properly. So she's back. She's back. She's back. Annie, I agree with you. Mr. Khan is hilarious. It's helped us get through the period, right? And also,
Yes, indeed.
Dada,
I
welcome,
certainly
welcome,
appreciate.
welcome. Mr. Calm is not. Mr. Calm is calm. He's just very tired. He's exhausted, right? Let's bring Christiana
Yes.
back,
I
and
think
then
you need like a full like decompression before that.
Mr. Calm, I have a bed for you.
And I
Oh,
need
thank you very much.
Cool. I'm gonna
I
mute
am.
someone. There's no in the background.
I will make haste to go to Christiana's house since it's a castle. And that's all. That's the only place that. That's
Look
only
how it
the only place that
doesn't want to come to
princesses
my house.
live.
Doesn't want to come
Queens
to
and
my
prince.
house.
No, I'm not coming to your
Christiana's off.
house.
He's going
Sorry.
to her house. It's fine. I don't care. You go to Derby. Go to Derby.
Jealous, that's not you.
I want to be spoiled. I want to be spoiled. I am never going to be spoiled at Annie's house.
And you get cooked
Never.
for too. There you
My
go.
wife is
You
my
have
wife
some
is rather
African
nice.
food.
My wife spoils everyone. No, there's no. I'm not sharing my food with you. I know that one. And I'll get you some pasties. Have some pasties.
He's not sharing his food and he's not sharing his drink.
You can have some pasties. Pasties nice though.
Pasties. Those ones will give me
you gotta say
diabetes
properly. It's not pasties.
and
You gotta
kill
say
me.
Pasties.
And he wants to kill me when I get to his house. Can you imagine that?
You can have some pasties.
That's why I said come and stay with me. Come and stay in mine because Annie will just feed you.
I'll die.
What? Like, the chances I'll probably be down the road because I know you're gonna feed him, so I'll be around the corner. Okay, where's mine? Where's my takeaway, Christiana? Where's my takeaway? Yeah. Anyway, let's get back on with the show. Let's get now you're back. Are you moving all right now?
No, I'm still kind of frozen. You guys are freezing.
No, you're perfect. No, you're moving. You're moving perfectly. There's nothing wrong with your style.
It's still the lips. It's fine. It's not a big deal. It's fine.
Someone said earlier.
You were on the roll, and it was really good. So go ahead.
Yeah.
Okay. No. Here we go.
Even though you look dubbed, you look like you've been dubbed. Says Natalie.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Rubber dub dub.
Don't move like that. That's not helping, right? I'm trying to confuse the tech.
Oh, stop it. Stop it.
Joni wants to talk. Joni wants to share. You back in the room.
No, I have stuff to share, but I want her to make sure she fully introduces everything.
Could be all day. Sorry, who said that?
Any goodbye.
Come back.
Oh my gosh, this is your show.
Yeah, come back. I didn't mean it really. I did, but I didn't mean it. I was being funny.
Christiana.
Come back.
Christiana. Okay, so here is the deal, honey. I'm right here. I did have 2 miscarriages. I did. I'm at 12 weeks, 1 girl, 1 boy. And I had seen the heart beating and everything. And they wouldn't like get a miscarriage on their own. So I had to get DNC. And that was better for me because it was so heartbreaking to lose those 2 babies between, so I had 2 girls, lost 2 babies, and then had a son. And during that time, my ex didn't take off work. I had to roll myself out of the hospital with a cup of apple juice. I'm like, don't worry, my husband's just gonna be here to pick me up. And then I just walked to my car. And I know that's tragic for everyone to hear, but honestly, I have digested that part of my story for sure. I also, I did not, I wanted my body to work again. And so, you know, I wanted to know that I could produce another child. And so it was not right of me, essentially, because like my ex and I we were falling so hard out of love. It was like nothing. And I would just like try. And we got my son, and then he left. But something in me, like I couldn't face that in the face of losing two children. I did not like having a, intercourse at all. After it, I felt like gross. But having a DNC is a lot different than having a natural miscarriage. It's like your period is over in like one day because it's all gone. You get put to sleep, it's gone. And so it's a little different than having like a really heavy period and having to see that. And I know I'm like speaking candid terms, but I just wanted everyone to know that it's not as scary as you think, even though it's sad. And yes, so that happened to me, and then I did get a boy, but I think also I wanted to share it that 80% of my friends have had miscarriages, and the older you get, the more likely it is. And also, the older you get, maybe the more like comfortable you are with your husband and with intimacy and with trusting him. Like I was 22, I was a kid. And so like maybe we didn't put that foundation down. And so but DNC is not as scary as you think, and you can get pregnant again after that. And I think what your message is, like, just talking about this is really good. And it is actually more common among a lot of African American people. So almost all of my friends that are African American have had losses, which I don't know what the fuck that's about, but it is true. So I'm not at all her level of you know what she's talking about. So, but yeah, just want to share that.
Thank you, Joni. Thank you for your share. My screen is still freezing, but I'm gonna, crack on anyway, regardless. So let me continue with what I began with. It's one of those things you kind of think to yourself, do I have this conversation or do I not? And you know me, I like to bring conversations that others don't feel comfortable speaking about. And today's session is no different. Really, when we think about it, after a loss such as miscarriage and baby loss, intimacy can shift from a space of just connection and warmth to one of mechanical actions or cold detachment. Not intentionally. Oh, no, let me rephrase that. Somewhat intentionally, but not intentionally to want to deliberately hurt the other party. So let's not forget that in a loss, we are grieving. And grief can appear in different ways. I'm so glad we're speaking about fear, the fear of this whole journey next week on our live event. Just the sheer grief that we go through, the fear we feel, the pressure that we feel sometimes, and the misunderstanding of ourselves and misunderstanding of others for us. All of that factors in to how we then turn and how we behave when it comes to intimacy with our partners, whether you want to say husbands or partners, girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever label you choose. That person that you spend that time with, that person that you get intimate with, that same person that you began the journey with. And I say this to couples who, for them, this journey is a dream, right? Imagine going through that trauma and then having to go through the processing or still processing what just happened. And then grief is starting to set in. And you expect to just pick up where we left off and move forward. It is often difficult, for that to happen. It's often a difficult thought process. It's often a difficult one because someone will end up getting hurt, Either
Yeah.
both parties or the party who feels like they've been rejected. And that's often what happens. What I hear in my practice is that word of rejection. I feel rejected because she won't come near me anymore. I feel rejected because she doesn't want me to touch her. He doesn't want me to touch her. That word rejection really fuels and contributes to detachment that couples experience after loss, let alone getting into becoming intimate again. For the woman, as Journey mentioned earlier, having experienced 2 miscarriages, your mindset is in a negative self-talk mindset. Having gone through, for some women, they've been through several surgeries. I know for me, I went through several surgeries. Several surgeries later, so there's an actual visible scarring that happens, and you tell yourselves, certain things, that self-negative talk about your own body, and that means that the last thing on your mind is intimacy. The last thing that you want to think about is how much you don't want to be in a position that you have to be intimate. That's a physical side. Now, from a connection perspective, let's not forget that intimacy begins from human contact, but not just a physical side, from the mindset to begin with. It's how we feel about the person in front of us. It's the conversations that will begin in our minds that feature in our physical being. So when we think about mechanical intimacy and how it manifests itself, think of this. What are you telling yourself? What is that language that you are using against your own body, against your own mind, that you're telling yourself is the reason why you cannot connect with your partner, why you cannot connect with your loved one? Because let's face it began in love. That's how you got there in the first place, for you to be able to now get to this point, having had that journey together. And I'm going to keep repeating this. I'm speaking to the couples who this for them is their dream. I mean, I don't speak to everybody else, but the couples who really, this is their dream. This is something that has been thought out or been spoken about at least, and they're aware of the journey. It's not a surprise. And even if it was a surprise, after going through such a loss, such trauma, you'll find that, for me, in my practice, like I said, some of the couples would say, I'm not sure what to do. I'm not sure what's expected of me. There is that expectation that then turns into pressure. The question here is, who expects what? And are you communicating your expectations to each other? What are you telling yourself first before you tell the person in front of you, the person that you lay with? That's one. The next thing is the understanding. because we can sometimes misunderstand, or we make assumptions, or we read body language incorrectly. I'm hoping that you'll know your spouse or your partner really well at this point. At this point, for you to not misunderstand what the body language is telling you. And if in doubt, it is always, always advisable to ask the question. And as I like to say, never make assumptions in things like this. Do not make assumptions in a situation of this nature, because you could really get it wrong. You know? And so let's think about it. Let's look at the terms first of all. Let's define the terms. What does mechanical intimacy mean to you, or to you and I? You know, think about the movements,
I can do a little
think about the
response.
connections, think about how you wear, how, sorry?
Oh no, I was saying I can give you a response to that, but go ahead. Go. Sorry.
That's
No,
okay. I was
and I
saying,
really
so
know
what
that
does that look like to you?
it's
Right?
like you are taking
But
a test where you're ovulating, and because you just as a woman want your body to work, and then you have sex that exact day, and it's not
time.
sorry, it's not sexy, it's not like romantic or anything, and then after you know, I don't want to be crude here, but like ejaculation, you put your hips in the air so it will go down to your uterus and you might get a baby. And it's like it's so non-sexy if you do that mechanical stuff. So I I really do understand that feeling, and I certainly have been at that point.
Mm.
Um, and I it was wrong. It was wrong of me because like and my ex, but you know, that's a whole different story. But I also want to tell any woman out there, I just one quick thing that my dad, who's so like very unemotional, like just he like engineer, architect, and he's just like blah, and he's like, Joni, honestly, like you, even though you have two kids, it it almost makes it harder because you know what could have been, and you imagine those babies and your belly grew a little bit, and so don't take it like, the fact that you have two children, oh, you're okay. Because people say that, oh, you have children already. It doesn't matter. Or something like that. Not that harsh. But I it does matter. It matters to any woman, and it is hard. So I respect any woman who has to go through that, and but also know you're just not alone. You're just not. You're not alone, and that's it. Sorry.
Thanks, Jamie. I hear you. Okay, yes, you're right. I mean, the thing is, let's put it this way: intimacy doesn't begin from just the physical. It begins from our mindset. It begins from what we tell ourselves. It begins from how you later on view the person that you lay with, and what your perception of how you feel about yourself you project on them. You think, for example, if a woman is thinking, oh my goodness, I feel, my body has failed me. I'm ugly. I've got all the scars. There's so many things that we tell ourselves. The likelihood is we will project that on the person next to us. And because they're the closest to us, it's the one thing that they are going to notice. Okay? And so here is what I was saying before, is that when you think about it, the movements that we make, that movement in our mind, we tell ourselves, my body's not good enough. We tell ourselves all these negative things. And so we act according to what we've said to ourselves. But the mind conceives, the body will receive. And that's the reality. For some, however, it could be the opposite. They have the desire to quickly, when I say quickly, I had couples of women say to me, I just want to get back on the bandwagon and get back straight on the horse, as if the man is just some kind of machine, some baby making machine. And I have had one or two men use this exact same word I'm saying to you. I'm not a baby machine. I'm human. Where's the love? Where's the romance in all of this? We've missed it, or words such as we've missed the touch. We don't even have the fun anymore. The playful side, the communication, the connection, the contact, the affection goes, or it's not considered where the man is concerned. Because for the woman at this point, I'm speaking of the women who quickly want to get back on the horse, so to speak. Their focus and their agenda is to bring a life into this world, is to achieve that goal that they've given themselves. And therefore, sorry to say this, the men are not considered in that way, and also meeting for them is also meeting a perceived obligation for them to help their spouses to bring a child into the world. And we have to understand that when someone feels obligated, it removes the romance, it takes away the joy. Or when they feel a duty to perform, it takes away the joy, it takes away the love, it takes away the excitement, it takes away the playfulness, it takes away the communication, the connection. And so we find ourselves experiencing mechanical intimacy as opposed to real love, real trust. And again, the trust does suffer along the way. So let's really think about it. We also experience things like impersonal cold intimacy. Physical closeness is gone. Don't forget, when you are emotionally detached from a human being, or emotionally distant from a human being, you find that sexual attraction will disappear or will slowly begin to evaporate. And that can kind of involve, or can look like, affectionless. Okay, so you're doing it because it's a routine, you're doing it because needs must. I'm going to go into women and men, couples who are going through IVF, for example. And Joni touched on something that I'm going to try and shed light on. That is when you are ovulating. There is a set for women, and most women would know their own bodies, their clocks, the biological clocks. There is a very small window for you to become pregnant. And therefore, for a woman, it's the time. There's also the body temperature. You got to have the right basal body temperature for you to be able to. If you're about 37, you're thinking, okay, 37 is my body temperature right now. How quickly and what can happen next? There's all these things that women have to factor in, or tell themselves they've got to factor in to be able to move forward. When it comes to IVF, there is specific, and I mean very specific, instructions, from the injection that you got to give yourself, the time, and so on and so forth. And again, let's not forget that when it comes to IVF, it really takes away the intimacy part, because you are advised to not, be physically intimate during this process. You've got to be mindful to avoid or to abstain. Boy, oh boy, I feel sorry for the men. I empathize with you guys. You have to put up with a lot, right? And so, really think about that. That goes a long way to contribute to the intimacy and mechanical state or mechanical intimacy state of your relationship, which unfortunately results into emotional distancing. And for some couples, that causes a breakdown in relationship. And that's the reality, you know, driven by avoidance. So you will do anything. You'll go to work. You'll take overtime at work. You'll stop with the boys, or you will say I'm sentimental with the ladies. And there's everything that we can use avoidance tactics to not really focus on what's going on at home. You avoid that. And what happens is this: we have couples who are continuously walking on eggshells around each other. That's the reality. Okay. At first, you feel numb because you're going through this grieving process, because you are experiencing this loss. So in its raw state, you still have triggers that you're having to experience, you still have triggers you're going through. Then to add the lack of intimacy. For some, their love language is being intimate, whether through physical contact, hugs and touching, or the actual act of being intimate. So that's their love language. And if somebody says to you, I want you now to cut off or to stop your love language, I gotta be honest, that would really for me personally, that would really be an issue for me. That would be an issue for me. It would take a lot. However, with good communication, with leaning into each other, I think Joni says, with leaning into each other, and understanding each other, just taking that time, pausing for a moment, speaking with yourself first, asking yourself, why is this? Why? Because we know some of the causes already. We know the causes that or the contributing factors to why now you're experiencing cold, mechanical, robotic, emotionless, and lack of intimacy. There is a numbness we feel. There is the fear of a lot of things, the fear of losing the pregnancy again, the fear of perhaps not being able to get pregnant, the fear of what to do if I'm eating right, if my body going to fail me. There's all these fears that couples are experiencing. And so that really creates a barrier subconsciously for them. It creates a barrier. I wrote a post this week about my own personal experience when it comes to the fear of. And I remember my fear was, I'd already initially, what I thought was I'd done everything, the right things that I needed to do to ensure that I carried my baby to full term. And when that didn't happen, I've reverted to what I know best. And for me, if anything happens in my life, whether I'm happy, sad, or going through something or creating something new, my fitness is at the center of what I do. That's the one ball I cannot afford to drop. I just can't afford to drop that ball. So what happened is I doubled down on my physical fitness because I told my body that it was no good. If it couldn't do this thing that was this miraculous or simple thing at the time, it was no good, and I needed to do more. I internalized that thought. I told myself I needed to do more fitness. I needed to be more fit, more well, more active, And guess what that happened? I became dangerously obsessed with working out. I was working out twice a day. Twice a day, minimum of 45 minutes. And they were not moderate exercise or low impact exercise. They were high intensity interval training, right? That does a lot to the body, to the point that I had less fat in the body than the recommended amount of fat for my height and for my age. And this is where fear sets in. But at the same time, what happens is, because you're so focused on doing all these things, you don't think about intimacy. You think about, how do I get my body right? And so it's really important. And when I say this, there are so many things that we could set up as barriers that contributes to a lack of intimacy because of the fear, of miscarriage repeating itself, because of the fear of. The next thing is the biological urgency versus the emotional readiness. And so going back to talking about the couples who quickly want to get back, or the woman who wants to get back quickly on the horse and get that baby out, as I've heard people say to me, the urgency is the urgency. Although you're not emotionally ready, but that urgency states you haven't got time. Maybe the doctor has said, your gynae has said, right, your eggs are drying up. You're now well over past it. You're now 35 and your eggs have got no chance, or tiny chance, or 1% chance. And all you can think about is conceiving again. That serves to create a barrier between you and your partner. Okay? That strong desire to conceive again can clash with a lack of emotional readiness. Seriously. Which leads to a feeling of rejection on the other party's side. So they could be feeling rejected because now you're like, I want this, my partner doesn't want this. So you become, that person, that individual who feels rejected. And we all know how rejection or what rejection can do. When you, especially in a relationship, when you feel rejected, what do? You become frustrated. You become, angry. For some women, some men, they become angry, frustrated. They pick up different habits. That includes substance misuse. That includes avoidance, being all hours at night, not going home. There's so many ways in which it manifests itself. Another point to think about when it comes to what leads to mechanical intimacy is the guilt and the shame. Oh my goodness, this is a big one. The guilt and the shame that we feel. One of us or both of us may feel guilty about how the body has failed us. We've said this already before, the body failing. And sometimes men do tell me they feel guilty watching what their partners are going through and not being able to help. So now they have got to work or go according to their partner's pace, as opposed to communicating what they're truly feeling. So here's advice to you is, when you feel or think those thoughts, take the time to share and be open and honest with what you are truly thinking, feeling, and going through. Because if you fail to do that, that in itself is a miscommunication. No communication at all is still a statement, it's still a language that you are making to your partner. And so my advice to you and my strong suggestion is, take the time. No matter how difficult and how horrible, unwelcome it may sound to your partner, take the time to voice them. It is not it's not what you say, it's the delivery. So maybe you want to prepare yourself, you want to be able to be in a situation, an environment where you are relaxed, where you are able to be comfortable and they're comfortable before you tell them. And definitely not in the midst of, a disagreement. That's not a way to go. The worst thing you want to do is the last thing that you should do. Take the time to find the space and have the conversation sensitively, honestly, with patience. So think about the psychological and emotional impact of what lack of intimacy, mechanical intimacy could do, or cold intimacy, as some have said to me, can do. An increased feeling of loneliness. That's the path and the road and the journey that you're going down. An erosion of trust in your relationship, because intimacy now becomes a chore. It is something that we've got to do just to get on with what we need to get on with. It's a needs must. And none of us want to be in a relationship where our intimacy is a needs must or we feel an obligation. Absolutely not. You know? And so take the time to think about, how do I want that person to feel once they hear what I have got to say to them? The other is dysfunction. And I mean physical contact, sexual dysfunction. For the men, reduced arousal. We talk about different, for the women, we have intimate dryness. I can say so much more, but think about it. What happens? Intimacy, intimate dryness for women, reduced arousal, that feeling of being desired comes out of a relationship, especially where there's a cycle of continuous avoidance. So you are involuntarily becoming celibate, not through choice, but because you feel forced to, and altogether that deepens your disconnection. That deepens your detachment, which defeats the point of coming together and creating a soul, creating a baby, making a baby. So I'm going to pause for a moment. Annie, I'm going to hand over to you.
I was having such a peaceful time there. I was in his happy world. Yeah,
It must not last.
I feel exposed. I feel exposed. Michael is here. He will save me. If not, the comments will save me. Mike, welcome, 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 welcome. Right, Christiana, there's many contradictions. Michael,
Hi, Michael.
I'll let you speak. Save us,
Yes.
Michael. Don't put your foot in it, though, my friend. Be very careful.
Contradictions. Tell me.
Go, Michael. Michael, he might have fallen asleep as Michael, right? Because he's been awake since yesterday. Right. When you're on mute, then I guess we'll hear.
Yes,
from
Michael, please stay with us.
Yes, it's
Oh, Alexis is here. Hi, Alexis.
welcome, Alexis. Indeed, welcome, 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 superstar Alexis. So Alexis is one of the very best people that you ever want to meet when it comes to doing what we do: books, books, books. So thank you for joining us. Glad you're here.
We're still due to meet, Alexis.
Yes,
Welcome, Rosemary. So good to see you. Luce is here. Yay. Hi, Luce. I want to wave to you. Nice to see
Don't
you.
ignore the background. That's comments by Rosemary. So it's going to be a wow
Sorry?
event. Your chance. Have you seen what Rosemary says? I love the background image, Christiana. It is going to be a wow event. That's a chance to elaborate in your event, Christiana. Take your chance.
Yay! Yes. So our event, yes, Rosemary, is going to be an amazing event. So definitely, our event is happening next Tuesday, the 19th of August. Title, I'm sure you can see the title already. The title is The Fear of Grief, Resilience, and Reproductive Journeys. So we are going to be talking about these things along with my beautiful hosts and speakers, which this community have met before. So we have Zion, we have Andre Bright, we have Dr. Noella speaking about preconception. Andre will be talking about burnout. Yes, burnout does happen when it comes to post miscarriage and baby loss. And in particular, I'm going to link it to what I'm speaking about tonight, which is that repetition of having to let's try and conceive, try and conceive, try and conceive, try and conceive. You potentially could burn yourself out from the grief that you're going through. Some of us are not even processing the grief or haven't processed the grief in its entirety. And now we're looking at jumping back on the horse, so to speak. And then that means that we could experience burnout. And some of my clients have experienced burnout. So the event next Tuesday, 7 p.m. BST to 9 p.m. or 9:30 BST, is going to be talking about all of these things. We are looking for you to click. Yes, you can use the QR code. Click the QR code. Please share this event. Let anyone that you know that might benefit from this event come. And throughout this week, I have been, in fact, all of us have been going through the acronym, which was created purely on the basis that when I experienced the third miscarriage, I was offered, okay, my aftercare was a leaflet, okay, over the phone. Imagine you are full on going through a miscarriage. You have a medical team on board, and you ring to say, "Oh my goodness, I'm going through this right now. This is like something terrible is happening," and you don't you don't get a response until 24 hours later, okay? And what happens is that leaflet that's been given to you over the phone, I'm going to add, for me, had to be something, no, was something negative, which had to be turned to something positive. So throughout this week, we've been going through leaflets, and in the event next week, we fully intend on giving our audience this leaflet, okay? And when I say this leaflet, I don't mean a piece of paper leaflet. I mean this, the acronym for leaflet. And we have 4 different acronyms. The first one being, and if you're with me, please take a minute. And if I don't know if Natalia, you're around, are you able to put some abbreviations or at least the first word on here? That would be really great if you could. So let me go through it. The first one this week, which began on Monday, this week, was L4. If I can find it, just give me a moment. So sorry, folks, just trying to find this for you. And my device is frozen. Of course it is. Oh, goodness me. Excellent. So the first one, here we go. Thank you so much for your patience. Ignore me. The very first one was L. L is for love that never fades. E is for empathy for every journey. A is for acceptance of all emotions.
I am
F is
a
for faith
typist.
in healing your pace. So
So
we can put just the first word.
we've got
L for
love.
love.
Yes.
L is for love that never fades. E is for empathy empathy for every journey. A is for acceptance of all emotions. F is for healing at your pace. L is for listening without judgment.
Calm
E
down a
is for
bit. Seriously,
expectations.
calm down. LEA.
Are you typing this?
Yes.
F.
No one else is doing it. Might as well do it, right?
Oh,
F
thank
is
you. F is for F is for faith in healing at your pace.
no, just faith. Go on, carry on. Next one. L.
Yes. L is for listening without judgment. E is for expectations met with care. And T is for together this week. Now, you don't have to write these down. I'm just going to go through two
T
and
is for what?
three.
The last
T
T is for what?
is for togetherness through the pain. Okay.
Okay. I've done my. Okay. All right.
Thank you. And so
There you
the
go.
second version.
Second version.
Thank you, Annie. That's awesome.
I've quit
No,
now.
no,
I've
no.
resigned. I've resigned the
Oh,
typist
don't,
role.
Annie, don't
I've
type this. I'm
resigned.
reading to the audience. That's fine. Don't type. You don't need to type this. It's fine. Annie, you haven't got to type this. It's fine.
Okay.
But I'm going to read it out anyway because all through the week, I've been reading this out all through the week, one every day of the week. The second one, that was Tuesdays, is empathy for every journey. So the L is for love. Sorry, I'll start again. L is for love and light in dark times. E is for empathy for every journey. A is for assurance you're not alone. F is for faith in your tomorrow. L is listening without judgment. E is for encouraging hope step by step. T is for trusting and together in strength. Day 3, yesterday's one was L is for love that lasts. E is for empathy always. A is for acceptance in all moments. F is for faith. And L is for listening with heart. E is for encouragement every step. And T, together in strength. I'm hoping that that makes sense to you guys. I'll wait for the next one. So the event next week, Tuesday, is really an event to help you navigate the fear of post miscarriage, during miscarriage. We're going to be talking about grief, resilience, and the reproductive journey. So the first thing to say is there are 3 tiers of seats for this event. The first one is a recording only. The second is a standard. So that means that you guys can come along, send us your questions, and we will endeavor to answer some of the questions. The great thing is it will be recorded, and you can take away your recording with you, or we can send it to you afterwards. The third one is for our VIPs who can come in to the room with us and ask the speakers questions pertaining to their own personal situation. So we'll answer you according to what you're going through. You can ask us questions personally, directly in a room that's going to be a private room, a closed room. It will be on Zoom. So there's no worry or fear of anyone just jumping into the session. All parties in that room will be purely invites only. So yes, I cannot wait for that to happen. I'm looking forward to it. I want to take the opportunity to say thank you. Please share the event with your loved ones, anyone that might benefit from this. Please do share. Um, and I look forward to seeing And you guys, I cannot wait. I really cannot wait. It's been a whole week of trying to, promote this event. And every single day we have a pre-event live, 7 p.m. and 1 p.m. every single day, live on LinkedIn. So you probably see my post. I'll say to you, click on my notification, click the bell, and I will definitely, you would definitely be seeing the post from myself, or post from Zion, or post from Dr. Noella, or post from Andre. Thank you so much, and thank you for the heads up and the drawing attention to this, Rosemary. See you there.
Interesting. Interesting. Okay. Let's do some more comments, right? So Mike is being a genius today, as always. Mike says communication, surrender to the transcendent,
Yes.
embracing pain of trauma, trauma. Yeah,
Mm.
you agree, or do you
I
agree?
hear. I
Okay,
hear.
you
I hear,
agree.
Michael. Thank you so much.
And
Thank you.
Mike
Thank you.
says,
So let me no. Let's repeat that again. So it says, I'm trying to read through what he's saying. Unfortunately, my
it's on
screen is
screen.
covered. Communication, surrender to the. It is on screen, but for some reason mine is covered at the bottom because it's my laptop. Can't see all of it. Communication, surrender to the transcendent, embracing the what? That's a bit I'm missing. Embracing the.
Pain and trauma.
Yes, I do agree, because I think that the more you try to avoid your pain and trauma, the longer it prolongs, right? The more we try to, it's that you cannot run away from yourself. I know it sounds harsh, but you cannot run away from yourself. So you must face what you're going through. You face your emotions, you face the thoughts that you're having. And I always advise my clients to really face it, but not just to face it alone. You have to label it, right? You've got to label that emotion. What is it I'm feeling? Am I feeling anger, shame, guilt, annoyance, frustration, pain? What is it you're feeling? Label it. Because the sooner you can label it, is the sooner you can begin to understand it. And the sooner you can break down how you go about releasing it and letting go. So thank you. Is it Mike or Mike? Which do you prefer?
It goes by Mike on LinkedIn normally, but on here it's with Michael. So anyway, so Mike carries on. Inaction is a form of action.
So Mike, inaction is a form of action. Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I agree.
There's no way to say the silence is deafening. By doing nothing, by doing nothing at all, you are still doing something. You are making a statement, and you're being very clear where you stand. And I will add this: sometimes inaction isn't because we want to be inactive. Sometimes the inaction, it's due to the fear we feel, due to not fully able to process and still processing what we're experiencing. However, we're not able to articulate what we're experiencing. That inaction isn't something that is often deliberate, right? And sometimes it is deliberate. But in all of that, it is always best to take the time to pause, or communicate to your spouse or to your partner to say, I'm not ignoring you, I'm still processing. That in itself is enough. It's like when I don't hear from my friends, I say to my friends, don't go on months on end without me hearing from you, weeks on end without me hearing from you. Just a simple message to say, I'm hibernating, right? That lets me know that you are still alive, and you're just probably going through something. But I'm hibernating tells me that you will be back with me. The same principle applies here when it comes to your spouse, your partner. just say, look, ultimately, I prefer Mike. Thank you, Mike, for confirming. It's funny because we've got so many mics on here, and my husband is also another Michael Michaels. So will not get away from them, to be honest with you. It's great. And so that communication, whether in action, I do agree, but in that, communicate your in action by just saying, I'm still processing. I'm not meaning to argue, ignore you. I'm not meaning to frustrate you even more. I'm just still processing. That short sentence goes a long way to making the other party feel like you're still engaged with them, that you haven't checked out, that you're still willing to be in that space. So thank you very much, Mike, for your comment.
Okay, there's many more amazing comments. I was going to go.
So Alexis.
Yeah.
I like Alexis one. I'm going to come on. The grief and spiritual burnout can lead to a form of depression.
Yes.
Alexis, yes. So thank you for that comment. Yes, I am inclined to agree with Alexis because when it comes to grief, there's so many layers and so steps for us to take when it comes to grieving. I mean, we've done a whole show on grieving and the different steps of grief. I might revisit that actually, Annie. But the reality is, especially with the topic we're speaking about tonight, when you are going on that treadmill of wanting to conceive and you're wanting to let's try again, I'm ovulating, we've got a small window, we've got all of these things that are happening, you begin that cycle. Okay, that cycle, like a hamster on a wheel, a never-ending cycle that then takes you into that burnout, which leads into depression, because now you're not just fed up, you are frustrated. You're starting to tell yourself certain things and you realize what you're feeling. Your thoughts run away with you. You may be there physically, but are you there, as I said, are you there in spirit? Are you there in soul? You're aware of your surroundings. No, you're not. What begins to happen is a pattern. That pattern slowly leads us into the path of depression. And so it's really important that in all of this, communicate. The one thing I would say to you when it comes to mechanical intimacy is communication, first of all. Number one, no matter how difficult it is, you really have to communicate. Two, it's important that you are patient in your communication, that you show empathy and understanding, that you ask the other party what is the best way. How do you want to navigate? How to navigate this together? I remember when we did the show on Men Grieve Too. One of the things I mentioned on that show was to say that when you are going through, as a man, when you're in there as the spouse, where a male is going through grief, the best way that you can really support and help is to, the same thing applies here, is that really pausing. Sometimes it's not always for us to speak, but the power is in the listening. Because then you get to truly understand. So the question here is, are you listening to reciprocate, or are you listening to truly understand? And it's about steps I want, and how do I communicate that to the one in front of me? So thank you so much for that comment and that share, Alexis.
Do you have building work in the background?
No?
Yeah.
Why?
There's a noise in the background.
I can see my comment. No.
It's not.
It's not me.
Dr. Noella is here as well. Welcome, Dr. Noella. We'll
It
come
might be
to
my
you.
fan. I've got.
Yeah, there's something making
Yay! She probably
a
came in for
mechanical
our live
noise.
discussion.
There's something making a mechanical noise in the background. But comes that in a second. Yes, you saw what I did
Speaking
there,
of
right? You saw what I did
mechanical,
there.
that would be
I
my
tell you what,
fan.
that's quite smart
I
of
know.
you.
I heard. I heard.
You know, as Rosemary says, baby lost this to
Yes,
the not handled properly.
I agree with Mary. I do agree.
They might say it's embracing. That's
Because
what
think
they
about it.
might
Now when
say.
we have
Gone.
yes, yes, Mike. So think about this. Going back to Rosemary's comment, women, as we know, go through postpartum depression. At this point, you've given birth to a baby. Imagine when you don't, I've said previously, imagine when you don't have that evidence. You once knew you were pregnant. You once were pregnant. For some, this evidence of the pregnancy, and then you don't carry it to full term. And now you're having to deal with this loss and this grief. So it does lead to that depression if not handled properly. It does lead to that mechanical experience that you have when it comes to intimacy. As I said before, intimacy does not begin when we physically, begin that journey. It begins in the mind. It begins with our thoughts before our body follows. So what the mind conceives, the body surely will follow. And so, yes, thank you, Rosemary, for that comment.
The Mike says embracing can be the start of the.
Embracing can be the start of the grief process. Self-love is critical. Absolutely. I agree, Mike. You're hitting all of the spots tonight. I love that. I love that. So, yes, we have, first of all, got to embrace. I agree. But here's the thing about embracing.
Gone. Don't stop.
We have to be prepared to embrace ours first, and we have to be prepared to embrace our own emotions. Everything begins with us. Begins with us before we can embrace others. Before you can actually embrace, before you can actually embrace what your spouse or partner is going through, because that's the only way that you can help each other, and vice versa. The moment you're prepared to that same mindset of thinking, I embrace mine, I embrace yours, I embrace mine, I embrace yours, then you can meet in the middle. Then you can begin to lean into each other for that support and reconnection. Because the biggest thing that we want to achieve after mechanical intimacy is reconnection, right? How do we get to the point of reconnection? Being honest with ourselves first. It's by embracing all of us, of the emotions we're feeling, the thoughts that we're processing, and then embracing the other parties, or at least making room to allow them the space to embrace theirs.
Quicker.
That is so important.
Okay, we're listening. We're done, Judge. Let's do it quicker. We're an hour and a half to an hour show.
That's it.
Right. Remember that bit?
So it's disappear.
We're an hour and a half.
I do.
Remember that bit. Okay, right.
All right. Quicker. So, yeah, we listen without judgment. Let's go.
Yes.
The hamster in the wheel. I've been there. Yes, yes, she's been there before. Alexis, I empathize with you. It is not easy. I keep dropping my device. Don't ask me why. Next one.
Yeah, that's the idea. So my life happening for you, not to you. Necessitates embracing the trauma and pain, healing, becoming whole. My position is that embracing trauma has given me the gift of empathy. Mike, you want to join the studio, my friend? You know, I feel exposed, but
Yes,
Dr. Noel is here, so
it
I'm all right.
does.
I feel safe again.
Dr. Novella, welcome.
Right. Oh
Welcome,
no,
welcome. Yes, I do agree. Like, it's necessity.
it's the gift of
Sorry,
empathy. You know, Dr. Noella fell off again, so hopefully she'll come back in. So, all right, so
she'll
we're
come
almost
back.
done.
So
I think,
the gift of empathy is really important. Next one. Yes, we are almost done. So that's what I was saying. The gift of going back, embracing our whole self, leads to us getting a better understanding when it comes to empathy and being able to empathize with others. And that's the reality in embracing yourself first. So, is this Luce or Annie?
yeah,
Men are
no,
often
Annie.
forgotten
I think it's
in
Annie. I
this
think.
processing. The focus
No,
is on the woman, but as a couple, the best intimacy is communicating to. I cannot see the bottom. Communicating
to
to
each other, go through the grieving process together.
go through the, together. And this is what I preach every time I talk about couples, right? It takes two to tango. It takes two. This is a team sport. So you must remember each other when you're going through this journey. Anybody else there supporting you, ensure that they're focusing on both of you, not just one person, because then you are further isolating one party and contributing to the detachment that they are feeling and experiencing. Next one. Thank you. Embrace your spouse. Yes, Mike, I agree. Definitely embrace your spouse. Next one.
That's it for now. Right, Christiana, I don't know. Do you want an honest conversation, or do you want me to just leave it be?
Yay. Honest conversation. Good boy.
You want an honest conversation? I'm
Oh,
sure
we
you
can.
don't really.
Yes.
I'm sure you don't really. You know, it's just best I just say, yeah, okay, I've learned something today.
Emmy.
Thank you. Let's
Emmy, tell
go.
me. Emmy, tell me.
You
Tell,
don't
tell
really
me
want to know.
what you.
You really
Yeah,
want to know?
careful.
Hi, JJ.
I want
Do
to
you
hear from you, Emmy.
you really want to hear? Are you sure? All right. Don't call me a pig. Don't start
I
insulting
want to
me,
hear from
and don't
our
start talking
favorite
to me
uncle of the
as a
show.
result, right? Okay. Don't
Yes,
blame me. I'm staying out.
go
I'm just
ahead.
staying out. I'm
Tell
staying
us.
out. I'm staying out. I'm gonna do my work. I'm gonna find my own
You are not
happiness and
saying that.
joy. I'm just staying out. I'm not coming. I'll come home. I'll talk when I have to, and then I'll be understanding. Intimacy, no. I don't want to go there because you don't want to go there either. Leave it be. Why are we bothering?
What do you mean I don't want to go there? Let's talk about.
Leave it be.
Let's talk about it. Why
Why
not?
are we going there? Because you're grieving, I'm grieving, and it's mechanical. Let's just not go there. Let's leave it be for at least for 3 months, a year. Yeah, maybe
But it's
two.
mechanical because we're not communication. No, no,
No,
no,
no, no, no, no, no, no, no,
no.
no. I like my peace and happiness.
Why
Right.
we? Why we? Because we're grieving. It's more reason why we need to connect. Yes, so do I. So do I.
Michael's come back.
We
So
have to
Michael,
still
I'm like,
reconnect. We have to stay
yeah, no,
connected.
look, we can reconnect. We don't need to be intimate in that way. Why do we need to be intimate in that way?
Why not?
Because you're grieving, and everything you've said so
Good
far.
question. Why
You're
not?
grieving. Your body is wrong. Your body is not well. I'm grieving
I mentioned
too.
earlier that, but you're not helping the situation by saying your body is wrong or your body is not well. That is not
You
what we
said
want to
that
walk away
yourself.
with, because guess
That
what
you're
that does? That
thinking.
just puts a bigger divide.
You're thinking all those things. So me coming to
We know
say,
that.
oh,
However,
I mean,
that is not that is not how we want to be treated.
stop saying get back on the horse. That just gives me trauma,
No, no,
right?
no.
Stop saying that. There is no horse.
That's how some people describe
Absolutely quietly.
You
I'm
call it
listening.
that? I'm thinking about the
You wanted to this conversation, so here you get it, right? You get it. I'm not gonna hide it from you. Right?
We're having it. We are going to have it. We are going to have it.
Both of you
Yes,
have
I don't mind it.
Mike says, hold
both of
on,
you
Mike.
have gone off the deep end,
Mike
and
said
I'm
this
like,
would
what
be a late show.
I'm like, did I come to the right show?
Let's have this
Where were
conversation,
you, Michael? Where were you, Michael, when I needed you?
right?
You got me
Where's
talking.
Annie? Where's your empathy? Where's your empathy for crying out loud? Right? Someone's
It's,
going
it's,
through trauma.
empathy is when I
Someone's
get home.
experiencing
The
all these
empathy is
things,
when I get home.
right?
I will be my
No.
loving self when I get
For
home.
some people, this is their love language. And intimacy is some people's love language, right? What if you have somebody that's their love language? So you're telling me that you're going to penalize them because of what they're going through, as opposed to understanding and being understanding.
I'm being
as you embrace theirs, they embrace yours too.
I'm being understanding. No, let's not make it No, I want joy for all of us, all right. And if my partner's not getting joy because of the grieving process, let's park that. We're gonna have a garage, so let's leave it in the garage, and then we'll revisit that in a few months' time.
No,
it's like the old table, right? It's just
that's not how it works. Anyway, it's not black and white. Like you're trying to make it like it's some kind of written episode. No, it's about fluidity, right?
No, look, it's about communication. Communication is, I'm not into this right now. There's something that you miss that I think people miss in all of this, Christiana, right? Let's deal with Lewis's. I think Annie's comment first, right? Best intimacy for grieving process is doing it together as a couple. Yes, I agree with that. I agree with that. Now that way, both can express how you both feeling.
Yeah, but that way you can express how you both feeling. Yes, Annie, that one was for you.
I want to get intimate. You don't. Sorry, love. There's only one. How's this gonna go?
What are we missing?
Hey. He wants it. She does not. What are we meant to do, Christiana? What are we meant to do?
Hold on. But the question is, you find out. Okay, let me tell you what you meant to do.
I'm listening.
The point is, you find out why not. There's always a reason for decisions, right? Mm-hmm. There is always a reason for decisions that human beings made, especially in a relationship, especially when you experience such a trauma. And for some people, they're experiencing double trauma. Therefore, you really have got to think, okay, let's communicate. You do, I don't want to. Why don't you want to? What is it? Sometimes it's something.
Who wants to do that? That's that question. That's going to get you in trouble. Sometimes that makes you cold-hearted. Hold on. All right, hold on. That makes you cold-hearted.
No.
That makes you, a freak as a man, because now you're being evil, and and not understanding at all.
No.
And self-interested.
Oh, hold on. Anyway, let me ask you, who is telling you all these things? They're going to be lying to you. No, that's not true. Where are you getting your?
It's a picture that's painted of men.
From experience?
Right? No. This is a reality. This is the reality.
Hypothetically.
Right. Okay. Now let's go back a little bit, Mike. I've just sent you the link into your DM on LinkedIn. Right. Now this is a reality. Christiana, this is a reality. You can't have it both ways. I think, and I like I think that's Annie. I think so you don't have to physically intimate until you both feel that the time is right for riding the bike, so to speak. I agree with you completely, but the time is not going to be right immediately after the miscarriage.
So you have to communicate.
Who's going to communicate? Who's going to communicate? Of course we are.
But you're like, no. Good.
Yeah, I'm not doing it. I'm just not doing it.
That's not what you were saying before. You were not saying that before. You were saying something different. Okay. You have to
How are we saying something
communicate to
different?
be able to get your message across. Yes, you have to communicate because communication is the basis upon which you can come to understanding and come to empathize with
Right.
each other. If I'm thinking one thing, I'm thinking something else, and we don't communicate it, where's that going to leave us? Don't forget, this same miscarriage and baby loss is the it is it's responsible for breakdown in relationships and marriages, right?
Yes.
And at the foundation of that is communication. In anything and
I,
everything in life is
I agree.
communication.
I
And
agree.
Mike mentioned earlier, he made the point earlier, and the reality is in action is an action. By you not
Yes.
taking action, you're making a statement and you're taking an action. So you can when you say I'm just gonna leave the person. This is just you don't want to, I don't I want to, that's it. No, you gotta understand why is your spouse denying you
I do
what
understand.
was
I
once
understand.
something special, something
I understand
so new
completely.
that you had in your
I
relationship.
understand. I understand the grief.
Try
I
to
understand.
understand her then.
I
You
really
know
do.
what I'm saying?
I really do. Intimacy, no.
I'm going to save Eni here.
I like to dig my hole here. I like to literally keep digging in the
I'm
end.
going to I'm going to
Go,
play
Mike. Go, Mike.
I'm going to play mediator.
Go on, please.
Hi,
First
Mike.
of all, good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you are.
Go ahead. I'm
And
actually
it's a blessing
I'm,
to be here.
I'm actually a trained mediator, Mike. Just so you know.
Oh, sorry.
Yes.
Apologies, Colm, for stepping on your hello. I think there's two
That's okay.
types
Don't
of
worry.
intimacy.
I'm joking. Go on.
There's two types of intimacy that we
Yes.
should probably mention, right? One is emotional, the other is physical, and they're very intertwined. I would argue
Yes.
that physical
Yes, they are.
intimacy includes emotional, spiritual, chemical, all sorts of things. So when we talk about intimacy, and then emotional intimacy is very tied in with physical intimacy. But in order to have a successful relationship, I have to reiterate what you've been saying pretty much the whole show, and that is communication, communication, communication. Because if you're not doing that, then and so both spouses really have to communicate openly, honestly, um, authentically, with empathy for both parties, for each the other party. Because if you're not doing that, you're going to start to separate, regardless of, okay, so I don't want to have physical intimacy, and I'm sorry, but being in a relationship, being in a marriage, requires compromise. So, if there's a time that physical intimacy is not on the table, that's something either party is going to have to deal with,
I agree.
and
I
that's
agree.
I agree.
I agree with you, Mike. I agree with
But
you
Mike,
entirely. I agree with
earlier,
you.
so I'm not sure if you heard what I said earlier. When it comes to intimacy, I do agree with you, emotional and the physical side. But we have to I'm going to strip it back before that. Okay? When it comes to intimacy, it begins in the mind. It really starts from our thought process, what we think about ourselves, how we feel about ourselves, which is the emotional side. But it's that mindset, the thought process. So the reason I think I've been into any communication is really important, because before we first communicate with our spouses, we have already communicated with ourselves in how we feel about ourselves, in what we think about our bodies, in what we think about ourselves, and also what our spouses might be thinking and feeling. Okay. So that's why it's important that we do communicate. We cannot say, well, I want it and you don't want it, so let's just wait till 3 months in the garage and come back. Because for some people, you may not have a marriage to return to. You may not have a communication or a spouse to return to. You might find yourself literally quite out the door. And so I do agree, and I've been saying this. I
let's
said
say
this throughout my whole
let's
tonight
say Christiana, I agree with you.
communication.
I agree with you on mine. I will do the emotional connection and the being there and being supportive. It's not. It can't be a crime that I say intimacy is off the table, because it is. That's the only sense. That's the only sensible, kind, and good thing to do. Right. I know. I know. I this is gonna go next, which is, what if she wants to get on a horse and have a baby? I'm insulted, by the way, because now I realize it's not about our relationships, but the baby that you want. This I'm telling you what men think, right? This you just want the baby,
Yes, of
procreation.
course.
So the intimacy, as Mike says, is deeper procreation.
Yes,
And it's not. Again,
absolutely.
this is a knowledge that men have.
Annie, can I ask you a question?
Go for it.
Yes, but
What is your
yes.
definition of intimacy? Annie, what is your definition of intimacy for you? Because I'm trying to figure out where you're coming from.
It's love, really. It's love. It's love, you know. And I think the need to have sex is not, you know, again, it's a choice we make. Yes, I agree. You know, it's an emotional connection we have to have. But I say, now, if if my partner tells me I am grieving, I don't feel like it, it's the last thing I'm thinking about, right, I'm gonna leave it and go and get on with my life. I'll still be there, but I'm not gonna ask you again. That's just me. I ain't gonna ask you again. I'm just not, right? You know. And then I think you have to factor this thing in, Michael, where there's a belief. Many men believe, and sometimes many research, many documents, many books will tell you the same story.
Well,
The woman wants
one question I got to ask you is this. Is another question. You if you have love, why isn't that you're going to ask again?
Exactly.
Because she's grieving.
Spot on. That's the point I'm making.
She's grieving. I'm not
any.
Yeah, but any grieving. Let me interject briefly.
Doesn't mean that.
Go on, please. Feel free, Mike. Go, feel free. Go on, Mike.
Well, there's two things. One is grieving is a cycle. Grieving takes time. So if you're just saying she's grieving, and I'm not going to touch base with you, then you might as well walk away or touch her. You might as well walk away, because that's not intimacy. And that's why I said I kind of split the intimacy physically and emotionally, because they're both very tied together. So intimacy doesn't go off the table because you can't have physical intimacy, for instance. And I think I'm not. Go ahead.
Sorry, I was going to say.
Go on, Christiana.
The one thing I mentioned this earlier too. Okay, and I do agree with what Mike is saying. Intimacy isn't necessarily just the physical aspect. Perhaps that spouse is looking for you to connect with them on an emotional level. Okay, to just connect with them. For some people, they just want to know that they are reassured. It's a reassurance. Okay, I want to have a conversation. I want to sit with you. They may want to just bury their head in your chest, and that's it for them in that moment. Because, like Mike said, grieving is a cycle. Okay, just because we're grieving doesn't mean that we want to completely ignore our needs, or we don't want to face needs. And therefore, that doesn't mean that you cannot communicate with us. We can communicate and talk through. And I said to you earlier, you can ask the question, tell me more. So what is it that's causing this feeling right now? It could be the person is feeling kind of a little bit deep, a little bit ashamed, or they might be feeling that so many emotions, so many feelings going through. Find out, take the time to get to truly understand before you do what looks like rejection, which makes things worse. And I mentioned this at the beginning. You know, when we unintentionally reject our loved ones from our actions, it's really important that we communicate. It's really important that we understand the different levels of intimacy and what our spouses, whether it's the man or the woman, need those moments. What is going to be, what will work, what's going to be suitable. And I do agree that both parties have to keep communicating until they get to a point of where they agree, where they come together. But you can't just leave it open. You really have to communicate and ask that question. And you can't run away.
Well, it's kind of
That's what I'm saying. But
all
we're gonna
about your love. It's all about your love.
exactly
When you love
the
someone,
foundation on which
your
which you
you
lay.
your
Yes.
the aura that you exude from your body, from your
Mm-hmm.
being there, and the proximity of it is well felt by the other person, by the spouse. And it is that
Mm-hmm.
aura that you want to maintain and you want to have to surround them with, because that is where
Yes.
they will come out of their, that is where they'll find themselves and then come back to you because you are surrounding them. And that's why, Annie, you cannot, don't
Mm-hmm.
assume that, you just necessarily have to leave. No, you don't need to leave. You do not need, a simple touch, just holding hands. That's
Yes.
intimacy. And the
Mm-hmm.
holding hands part of it is just the aura, the passing on of your aura, saying, I love you through your body. The frequency of your body
Yeah.
just touches them. The smell, the hormones of your body, everything just really makes them comfortable. And they love it. And so what do? They get closer and closer and closer.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like you're
Yes.
tricking them any. No, it's because you are already in love with them. And all you're doing is just standing there and exuding this love and embracing them with your aura. And that aura
Mm-hmm.
is very powerful, significantly powerful to a woman. Don't do that to a man,
Absolutely.
but it's definitely
Wouldn't
significant to
that,
a
wouldn't
woman.
that do that to a man? This is my problem. The fact that it's done to a
But
man.
I'm just
vice
kidding.
What is the
versa.
problem? This is what I struggle to understand. And look, I can understand what you're saying, Michael. There's a love thing. Mike said the same thing, really. It's about the emotional connection.
Yes.
I get that. But you're trying to fool me that I can't. This conversation was mechanical intimacy. In other words, it involves physical
Mm-hmm.
intimacy, right? It involves sexual Let's go there. It involves sex. Don't have me, man.
No, no, it does not.
It does involve, but there's
It
It does
does,
not. No, it does
but
not.
that's months away,
because
Michael. It
it,
does.
You have to elevate yourself beyond that. You really do, Annie.
Then I'll be called names. I'll be called a meanie. I'll be called an inconsiderate. I'll be called a sex hungry sex fiend. That's
Don't
what. That's what
worry.
I want to allow to
Don't
happen.
worry. Don't worry about the names. Just elevate yourself beyond that.
I don't have to worry about the
I
names,
agree.
Michael.
Focus on it.
Really.
It's
This is the
serious.
problem.
I'm
This is
Eni,
serious.
like
This
that.
is
Well,
it's
I get. Go on. I get
Eni, you have to
trouble
distracted
with
on
evolve,
this.
this
man.
conversation.
You have to
Go,
evolve,
go,
man.
Mike.
Absolutely.
you really
I've
do.
Well,
It's
evolved.
all
My
about
evolution
elevation.
is me finding joy and sharing that joy with
As
you, but not expecting anything from you. That's what it comes down to.
but I think the precursor to intercourse is by
fruits.
definition other touch, right? So
Hmm.
if
Yes.
that person
Mm-hmm.
is unwilling or unable or both to be able to do that, then I don't see anything wrong with offering a cuddle or a hug or a back rub or a foot rub or whatever. And that's why I keep on getting to the idea of intimacy, because it's yes, it's
Mm-hmm.
enjoyable, it's fun, it's all sorts of things, including, I think, spiritual, and I'm talking about intercourse. But so
Yes.
can these other washing her hair if she's not able to, or maybe if she's even able to, drawing her a bath and
There you
filling it with
go.
some nice bath bubbles and roses and candles can be as meaningful as
Mhm.
physical intercourse. So, and I know that sounds
Okay.
maybe woo or whatever, but it's really not. When
It's true.
particularly
It's true. Mark, I can accept. I accept what you're
Can
saying, 100%.
I also add to that? It is the fact that that individual feels considered, thought of by you. All of that contributes to intimacy, right? It's the way you make that person feel. That is part of intimacy. So your words can help, and leaning in can help. The wearing of the bath is an actual action that you're taking, and a statement you are making to say, I am here for you. I am willing to, I am open to. We have that intimacy. So Annie, you can't leave her for 3 months in the garage. On that note, guys, I'm really sorry, but I have to disappear and go.
Ah, no,
I
thank you,
gotta go.
Mike. Thank you, Michael.
Thank
No,
you.
thank
Thank
you,
you, guys.
Christiana, too, of
Thank
course,
you
and
both.
everyone that's joined us as well. They said, of course,
Yeah,
as always,
that
do
that
connect,
was
right?
Yes,
that was a really good spat right
I'm going
there.
to
That was a really
repeat.
good spat.
You left me to it, Michael. You want to hear when I need you. You fed off the stage. That's what I need. I gave her a choice. I'm like, should I talk? And she goes, yes. I'm like, are you sure I should talk? She's like,
Yes,
yes. I'm like, here we go. So
yes,
that's what
absolutely. And I'm glad we did. But before I leave, I'm going to remind you guys, please, please, please look behind me, share our event
I
next
said,
week, Tuesday, the 19th of
let
August
me make it
at 7
easier
p.m.
for you. Let me make it
PST.
easier for you, Christiana.
Yes.
Wait. Let me make it easier for you, Mike. I'm going to take you off the stage, and Mike, I'm
Oh,
going to take you
gosh.
off the stage. I'm going to take myself off the stage too while I'm at.
No, what? Okay, right, folks. Look behind me. Thank you, Annie. Look behind me. You can see the banner. Next Tuesday, 19th of August, 2025, at 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. BST. That is British Summer Time. Please click the link or use the QR code to secure your seat, to secure your spots. Okay, we are going to be having so much time for you. We are open, we are waiting and cannot wait. The event is going to be epic. We have 4 wonderful, knowledgeable, amazing speakers for you. Okay, we have a burnout expert in Andre, a positivity expert in Zion, not just a positivity expert, an 8-time best-selling positivity expert. We have our medical doctor, Dr. Noella, who will be talking about preconception. And you have me, of course, who will be speaking of the fear of miscarriage and baby loss, or the fear after miscarriage and baby loss, and how you navigate that, how you get to move forward without falling apart, and how you get to move forward with clarity and with confidence. Once again, that day is Tuesday, the 19th of August. Go to Eventbrite, grab your ticket. It's a show not to be missed. We're coming with our leaflet for you. What does the leaflet mean again? The leaflet stands for, if any will permit me, L is for love, okay? Love for you. E is for what? Empathy, okay? And A is for acceptance. F is for faith, so faith in your tomorrow. L is for listening. We listen to you without judgment. E is for expectations. Okay, we expect for you to expect us to care for you. T is for togetherness through the pain. Thank you so much. And I want to say thank you to all of you on this show this evening. Thank you for taking the time out to come and join us. Thank you for both Michael and Mike. and for your contribution, your questions, and your comments. Alexis, I thank you. Oh, sounds like a great foundation. Thank you so much. Thank you, Alexis. Thank you, Rosemary. Thank you. I don't think who is here now. Thank you, Alexis, Rosemary. Thank you for indulging this show every single time. And for those who are our regulars, thank you, Joshua. Oh my goodness, it's been a while since I've seen Joshua. Thank you, Natalie. Thank you, Luz. Thank you, Annie. I don't know if Annie's still here, but thank you so much for being here, for continuously and constantly supporting this show. Thank you, Joni, with that smile on your face. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And above all, thank you to our superstar producer and my co-host, Annie. It is so wonderful to always have you by my side, even though we don't always agree on everything, which is what makes for a great host, right? Thank you, Lisa. You have been absolutely wonderful. It's good to see your photo right here.
We always agree. I like to be devil's advocate, and I guess I want a conversation, right? So I truly say thank you to Michael,
of course,
Mike and Joni, especially from the studio to share. I mean, I like to trigger people, right? So it's a good thing. I like to trigger you, especially, Christiana.
It's good fun. And also,
yeah.
I love it. It means that I get to talk more, doesn't it? I love it. I love it. It means I get to do what I do best, And in case you're wondering, how do I help people? I work with women and couples to help them to come to clarity and confidence on their journey. Okay, that journey on forward to continue to grow their family, or if they want to have a baby for the first time. My work with them helps them to really get their options and to really look at what it is are the obstacles that is causing them to move forward. Think of it as a hand holding, a support network, a listening ear, a sounding board. But above that, you get a program that you get to work on for your daily living, so you can go away with practical things in your toolbox that you can work with to make progress, to process what you are going through. I also work with also work with organizations to help you to ensure that you have a fit for purpose policy, both theoretically and practically, that supports your workforce that has experienced or is experiencing or will experience a miscarriage or baby loss in the future. Just 10 days for time off isn't always a support. Okay, yes, it is to a certain degree, but no two miscarriages are the same. So if you need help with that, and I've spoken to so many organizations that don't even know where to begin, and for some, it's the fear of. It's funny we're speaking about fear next week. It's the fear of how do we, can we, what if we get sued? This is all thoughts, a thought process. Hit that button, send me a DM, and let's have a conversation. I will offer you in this show right here a free consultation that you can meet with me and we can have a conversation. Yes, thank you once again. Love you guys. You are awesome as always. Take care of yourself.
Please, it's a good
be good.
Hold on. Post a link. Post the link for your event in the comments. Always good thing to do. As Rosemary said, we disagree to agree, so it's fine. This conversation yesterday, and that was a 3-hour conversation about forgiveness and disagreeing. Finding joy after pain.
What show was that? Thank you,
Christiana. Hey.
Yes.
What the conversation about?
I'm going to put
letting go.
So letting go.
Cool. That was on my being authentic.
Oh, that isn't always easy.
But I'm all about letting go. Let it go. Let it go. Walk away. Let it go. Mentally and physically. Yeah. Anyway, it's an interesting conversation. Watch the replay, Christiana. Now go on my YouTube and watch the replay.
I bet.
We're gonna. Is it definitely?
I bet
And there were
you.
12 people
Well,
on stage, 15 people on stage. So literally, it was a
that was
very.
awesome. That was
Alex,
fire.
also agree. No,
Fire.
I agree. I agree essentially. I think there's always unspoken understandings. I do mention them in bits every so often, Alexis. So it's not new to Christiana that I am. Like I can be. What's the word I'm looking for? A typical man. If you want to call it that. I can be a pig if I choose to be a pig, and every so often I choose to give you the piggish attitude of some men, and that's what we argue
You're
about,
funny.
really, right? Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone. Christiana, thank you, of course. Look,
Annie, you. So I'm putting this right now on. Why is my screen still jumping? This is really weird, Annie.
it's not going to change today, I don't think.
Okay.
It's not going to change today, but no, we'll go through the show in one piece.
No,
I'll
I
take
don't
that.
know why it's jumping. And
Right.
we did. I'm trying to put this thing on the link, and it's not going. I don't know why.
We'll do it after the show. We'll do it after the show.
That's
That was
not
on the comment
Anyway.
section.
Okay.
Thank you so much,
All right.
everyone.
Well,
Enjoy your night.
I'm still on
Thank you. I'll
screen.
leave you.
But thank you once again, ladies and gents. Have a blessed, wonderful day, evening, rest of the day. Take care.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.
She's success with Global.Media.com and celebrate it with or without champagne or rum. She's success with Global.Media.com.
My screen is still jumping.